Greetings, and welcome. My name is Coach Khayr, also known as Khayr Love, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing Emperor Monarch INRI Khufu Ranub Zoduk Samson L. Welcome, brother. How you feeling today?
Going better, brother. And yourself?
Oh man, I'm blessed by the best. I'm too sexy to be stressed. Absolutely. Worth my weight in diamonds and gold. I love it. Today I'd like to get to know you a little more, as well as give people an opportunity to know a little more about yourself as well. And I'd like to ask you a couple questions. Is that okay?
Fine with me, brother.
All right. The first question is, Emperor Khufu, who are the ancestors of Emperor Khufu?
My ancestors, they come from two lines. Okay, so the bloodline that I inherited came through the years, all down through the bloodline, is the bloodline Anunnaki. Okay, and that's what in Christian world they call it Elohim, or the gods. Okay, so that's the royal bloodline. So that bloodline been mixed throughout the generations. So it come all the way down to me, based on certain events that have transpired in my life on this journey to run your bloodline all the way back through the French monarchy, all the way back through every monarchy you got, really. You test our bloodline. So my bloodline go all the way back to the sun, the spirit sun. So that's who came to see me, my coat of arms. So that's my bloodline. So to recognize it on this level, my bloodline come through all the royal bloodline that's been on the world. So that's why in the declaration you have my ancestral chart, which is Anunnaki. That's the royal bloodline. Okay?
All right. And who are the Nama, the Nubarian, Al-Moroccan, Moorish, Yamashi, American Native, Amuru, Washita, Moor, Didamungia?
That's our nationality. Okay? That's a Nama. Okay, so we call ourselves Nama, but we are Olmec Kingdom nationals, and we're American state citizens. Okay, so to be a part of the contract that's on land, you know, you have to be an American state citizen when you trace your roots back to the fore of the Constitution, or to the Al-Moroccan Empire. Okay, who this is Al-Moroccan. So our contract go back through all the way back to the red flag of Emperor Morocco, Muhammad. That's where I pick it up at. Because see, only an emperor could come and raise the flag of the predecessor. So they never decommissioned the emperor's flag. They cut it down. Okay, so they can live off the privileges of it. Okay, so through treaty, they've been living off the privileges. So then they put you in corporation in 1789 with the Constitution and with George Washington coming in. So that's what's been running your privileges. So we attach, our contract go back to when the emperor signed it, the treaty. We represent the Al-Moroccan Empire. So I was able to raise his flag back up. So the United States gave us full faith and credit in 2004. All right, that attached us to all the way back to the treaties. See, so you got to be a part of treaties to have full faith and credit. You understand the jurisdiction where we coming from. All right, so the treaties is the Al-Moroccan Empire. So they under the of the Constitution. We're under the for of the Constitution. Because that's our contract. So the only way you can attach yourself to that contract is you got to be a foreign national in your own country. Okay, so when we established the state in 2003 with the state of Georgia, June 20, 2003, we established the state. There was 4 families on that contract. All right, so we put Chief Black Thunderbird Eagle on as the chief of that government, the Embassy Native American Government via matter of fact embassy. Okay, and then my brother, well, he calls himself Black Hawk now, Chief Black Hawk. Okay, I'm gonna keep it at that. He's the clan chief of that government, so he's the custodian. So he's a clan chief. So the way he registered the government was through the IRS with a BIA number. Okay, the matter of fact embassy, but the government stood on its own. So by Chief Black Thunderbird Eagle being as the chief of the government, okay, he had a certain time limit to systematize the government. So his wonder ended and the government never got systematized. So the Klan can't never run the whole government. They can run the Klan. And so he's operating that through the IRS crap. Non-resident alien. I'm sorry. Non-resident alien. Okay, so that seat was active up until 2013. So we put him on the seat June 19, 2003. Okay, so he never systematized the state. So he had 10 years sitting on that seat. Okay, so in June 19, 2013, that seat was vacated. You have him, so by me being the third signature on the contract, we established the empire, Continental Moorish Yamsay Empire, in 2007. After we don't drive through all the other organizations that's out there, that's on the market now. Okay, so once we established the government, okay, we had to walk small because there wasn't nobody there talking about the government. Only certain people knew what a foreign national in your own country. And 99% of the people who said who understood anything, they didn't understand how you can operate. Okay, so there was only a certain way you can operate as a foreign national in your own country. Okay, so now that we have grown and walked small with a big stick, as I always say, you have emerged your state, because you have a state, not an organization, not no club, no 501c3, ain't got nothing to do with it. You got your own state, so you have a sovereign state. Because Georgia gave you full faith and credit. See?
I'd like to ask, can you explain for maybe, let's say we got some young people listening and they're not familiar with full faith and credit. What is full faith and credit and why is it so important?
Okay, through treaty law, okay, they established UN and all that stuff in 1945 to establish a diplomatic protocol so all states can recognize each other with their, with their authority and where they're coming from, okay? So they established diplomatic protocol, Vienna Conventions, so that you can recognize, each state can recognize, and so imposters won't come in and try to say they're a prince from England trying to do business in America. You feel me? So if you don't have no authority to represent your state, you don't have no venue. So when they authenticated the Yamasee Native American government via matter of fact embassy, okay, when they authenticated that, they gave us the full faith and credit that the state of Georgia got from their constitution. All right, so that made Georgia as the major, and the other 9 colonies, then 13 colonies, okay, that you see on the flag, 13 flags, 13 red and white stripes, okay. So them the colonies, okay. So if they the states, so where do you come in as the East state? Because you attach yourself to the land. So to be under that treaty power, okay, that's why treaties are supreme law of the land, okay, they're attaching their full faith and credit from that sovereignty through the Moroccan Empire Treaty of Peace and Friendship, Marrakesh Treaty of Peace and Friendship, to this day. That's why, the President Obama said that's the longest standing contract in the world, which is, for the Corporation of the United States. But for the Continental Moorish Yamsay Empire / Imperial Royal Kingdom, our treaty go back to 1713. The treaty's up tricks.
Why? Okay. Why have we not heard of your state on the airways? Because it seems like you definitely know the history. You have went through the chambers that you need to go through, but I can't turn on Fox News. I can't turn on, I haven't seen it on NBC or CBS. Why haven't we heard of your state on the public national airwaves?
Best kept secret. If you watch our state in 2007, okay, you remember when Obama, peace of blessing with him, President Obama, the 43rd president sitting in the 44th seat, okay, that was sitting in the 44th seat. Okay, so if you go to his 100 day in office speech, when he said the active state is a cruise ship, now a speedboat, okay, he was talking to me because I'm the one saying active state. So I had to stay, but I had to wait because Doc turned it into 13. So I had to stay. I established a state. So unless Doc got out from his prison, the state was already established in 2009, active state. See, so everybody was trying to figure out what was that state he was talking about. You're looking at him. You're talking to him now. So we got the state. See, so you got to learn how to, we had to learn how to operate a state. Okay, not a UCC1 financial statement. Not some nationality that's you going up in there fighting them in your court, in their court. So you got a state, you got your own court. See, so that's what we just, so you had to learn how to grow in that. So you have people who came around, I ran into over the years, and they try to take bits and pieces of the empire and try to get out there and do their own thing. And I said, okay, they can go so far, but when you get down to the point where the venue is, they can't, that's where they're gonna lose out. Okay, so I just let them go because you didn't have your military up then, you know, to go out and arrest them. Okay, so it ain't that they committed treason against you; they committed treason against the United States. They're on birth record contract. So they got all this UCC stuff out there that people trying to do to claim themselves back through their Aboriginal, Indigenous, whatever name they claiming, but they ain't got no venue. See, they ain't got no venue. They ain't got no venue to file their own recording. They ain't got no venue to do anything. So the full faith and credit in 2004, when General Code of Power Sound is in, okay, that was when the game changed. The game changed because they signed in a sovereign state. They have more authority than them. So of course they ain't gonna let you know that they signed another state in. Of course Georgia ain't gonna let you know, they signed a state in, and they was arguing about their flag, how they gonna fly the flag, and the rebels wanted to put the red, our symbol on the flag, the 13, what they call the rebel flag. That's a Morris flag. And that's the flag that keep you from your what? Your privileges. Your gold. 1774. 1775, what got created? The United States military.
Yes.
United States Army, United States what?
Navy.
Marines.
Marines.
All right, they didn't call the Marines the Coast Guard. Now, what did the Coast Guard then? It was the Cutters.
Okay.
They got established in 1775. So how did they get established? Where did they get the clout to establish a whole military? That was the goal that our ancestors lent the revolutionaries, so-called, to fight the Revolutionary War.
Well, let's talk about that. What is the story about the 100 million of gold gone missing?
That's what the treaties is on. That's why treaties is a purse. Okay, so that's a purse for treaties. So when you got a constitution, it's equity. Okay, so if it's equity, you got to be backed by something. So when you look at the Constitution, it's backed by the treaty. All right, so the flag law, okay, they hid the gold in the flag. That's why we see I run the 48 star flag. I own this flag. That's my flag. See, they recommissioned this flag in 2005. No, a lot of people don't know. This flag was running and flying as of 2005. See, so we came through in a different way. Because they never thought you could come through. Because the only way you can get out of that birth rate contract is like you got to be able to claim your life back. Okay, so when the brother David Miller came through and he was showing how to claim the life back, at the same time we had just formed a government. Okay, so when he found out we had a government, he was like, whoa. He's like, you copy claim your government, you own it.
Now who was that? Who said that?
The brother David Miller, Truth Language.
Okay.
Okay, so that's why they had to take him off the market. When they take him off the market, came back, he would teach a whole level, a different level of claiming life than what we learned when I came through. So when I claimed my life back in 2004 under my national name, didn't have anything to do with the Queen or anything to do with Social Security number, it's my national name. Okay, so I only had attachment to the Yamasee Native American government via matter of fact embassy. Okay, and that was Khufu, Ranu, Zudak, Samsonel. He ain't got no attachment to nobody but his own government. Okay, all right. So when Colin Powell authenticated the contract in 2004, all right, he gave that Khufu, Ranu, Zudak, Samsonel, that guy, you know what I'm saying? Me, he gave me full faith and credit outside of everything. See, everybody else who signed the contract for a moon. Latif and them, they signed a contract on their birth name to put L on the back with that old Moore stuff. See, and I told them they ain't gonna take them with a second to take their L off.
Why did Colin Powell do that in 2004?
Well, it's an authentication process to go on every state at the Secretary of State level. And then you have another authentication process to go on international documents, and they call them blue bags. Okay, each state had their own, each country had their own color. So in America, they call themselves blue bags. So they run up. You can go to any Secretary of State and authenticate your documents. Okay, so when we authenticated our documents, we authenticated a state. Okay, so for him to put the apostille of the United States on number 1, okay, they got 3 levels of apostille, 1, 2, and 3. That group named ISIS that was in Philly, I forgot his name.
Yes.
Yeah, that crew, they got number 2 apostille. See, that's why they couldn't run that stuff they run. They can only set up a lodge in each state. They had to let the State Department know everything. When they signed our contract, they gave us a warrant. So we set up a government. So under the government, when they set number 1 on there, you can't touch it. The Supreme Court, nobody can touch it. You got full faith and credit. But they wouldn't check the record to see if the government was on record. And so when the deputy assistant State Department official came back and told Colin Powell, peace be with him, that yeah, they was on record. He said, yeah, there's a Khufu, Ranu, Zudak, Samsonel, who have 6 EEOs against the United States Post Service. He said, so they on record. And the Secretary of State said, yeah, they on record. And that's how we got that contract. We didn't slip through the door like they thought for all them years. You know, we were coming through 04, 05, all up through, all them years. Everybody trying how they get it. It's like they were talking about how they get it. And they were talking, we slipped in the back door. No, we didn't. There ain't no slipping in no back door at that level when you get ready to sign a state in, okay? And you get ready to give it full faith and credit. There ain't no slipping in no back door. Come on, bro. All right, come on.
So my next question is, well, it's like 3 questions, and you can pick which one that you think should be answered first. What is required to have a sovereign state? What is required to have a sovereign country? And what is a territorial sovereignty?
All right, so let's make it 4 then. So first of all, I got to finish the NAMA. Okay, so NAMA, okay, so Nibirian, okay, that's the mothership. A lot of people don't want to believe in. That's the case, but the mothership, which is 4 times the size of Jupiter, okay, that circles the universe, what they call heaven. All right, so the mothership, Nibiru, is where who came? Anunnaki. That's their home. So they was only given the Anunnakis, when they left Nibiru to come to Earth. So that's your royal bloodline. Okay, so through that bloodline, you can go either way. I go with Al Moroccan, okay? Okay, that's your Al Moroccan bloodline. Okay? So that's Morocco, Al Morocco here on Earth. That's all explained in the Declaration. Okay? Then you got the Moorish Yamasee American natives. That's the family that signed the contract. See, we signed it as Yamasee Native American. But see, when Chief Black Thunderbird Eagle, he put the United Arab Nation Moors Constitution, 1992, a lot of people don't know, when he put that under the Yamasee government in 2003, he said now the government has a home, he's chief. But he was never able to understand the contract because they blocked us from talking to him. So he never was able to do his seat. See, so they kept, they didn't understand we was a whole different state. So he was the chief of his own state. So literally he could have walked himself out of jail, but we'll get into that another day. Okay, but he didn't know how to systematize the state. So he didn't understand the full faith and credit because all them cats was, running with the attorneys, which is agents, and so they for their own fame. I'm gonna leave it at that, okay? So they missed the state because I'm putting it on record. Chief Black Thunderbird Eagle told all of them to get nationalized under this Bassa tribe, okay? That was under the chiefest was Chief Black Thunder Black Hawk daughter Farrah. She was the head of it, okay? And then her husband at the time was that guy named Joe that was head of the lodge, okay? So they're supposed to be running that whole state, but none of them got nationalized. So because Dottie had the word, he didn't have Chief Black Thunder, he didn't have the word to shift his authority to, not even to his family. Because his family, you know, they sold him out when they found them attorneys.
Yes.
Turn you over to the state. Okay, so we went in there with Doc in 2003. So I'm saying Doc had to present the contract into court, and he allowed the attorney to speak for him. So they gave him an opportunity to speak that day. I was in there, okay, and that's the first time he ever spoke. See, so he didn't know how to discharge the case because they didn't let us talk to him. They said he couldn't stand that. This is the exact words they said. He can't stand on that. And I said, damn, I thought he was a master teacher, know everything. You know what I'm saying? So when he came into court, he had the contract in his hand. Okay? And the judge told the court, them three gentlemen, I was one of them. And he looked me dead in my face. He said, yo, you gotta set this in the court. So we came down and told them that. Okay, we couldn't because they invited us in the court as friends of the court. So they moved all the Nuwaubians that was on the front row, they moved all them cats out. Okay? And just let Neil, I was standing here, and Rashad was standing here. No, Amun was sitting here, and Rashad was on the other end. Okay, so he didn't discharge that case. Okay, so once he didn't discharge the case, you notice all of a sudden they closed that case, and Macon Lawson was gone, and they moved it out to the Savannah because he couldn't do nothing else with that contract. They had to close that part of the contract down because the Yamasee government was involved, and he was on record as Chief Black Thunderbird Eagle. See, but he's in jail on some Dwight York guy. I don't know who that is. He don't need him because his name is York. Okay, so whatever that, I don't got nothing to do with it. I stepped away from there in 2003. Okay, when I walked out of court that day, I was done, and I never looked back because we got a state to run now. So we couldn't run no state with Doc, you know, with him being locked up. We ain't gonna have no locked up chief like the Yahweh been Yahweh cats, you know, and everything got to come from jail. No. So, so we had Lateef, or Chief Blackhawk, as the custodian of the government. So, and as the custodian of the government until end of the year when he put the Constitution on the government, okay, evidently Chief Blackhawk didn't let Chief Black Eagle know that we had a treaty with the Washita, the United Washita de Delta, okay? That's when it started with Prince Bay, when Imperial Prince Bay, okay? So evidently he didn't let Doc know because when he chastised him for putting the Washita numbers on the official seals of the government. Okay, and he also chastised him for pronouncing the embassy wrong. He's supposed to spell Mount Ararat embassy, not Mount Arafat. Okay, so he said you can't go out on the scene making them type of mistakes. He said so from here on you can only be a clan chief under the government. Matter of fact, he said forever. So he can now be the chief of the Yamasee government. So that's why nobody really seen the privileges that come with running your own state. Because they couldn't come through, because Doc could never sign nothing. He couldn't never write his own apostille. He couldn't write his own authority.
He was just a clan leader.
Lateef was just a clan leader. He couldn't do nothing, write a clan paperwork. Okay, and that's it. See, so now the state is finally established the way it's supposed to be established in 2003. Okay, so now the state has emerged. Okay, so now the state has its own until the Yamasee government don't exist no more. It's Imperial Scene White Government for Republic. See, so on to see, because I had to learn from the master, and that was the Vatican. Okay, so when the Vatican sent the when I sent the Constitution out in 2013, right? Okay, the next year, President Obama, he met the Pope on the day I signed the Declaration of Independence. Okay, March 27, 2014. Everybody missed it. You know you know what I'm saying? You got to know what you see. And then the Queen of England, she met the Pope on April the 3rd, 2013. Not no scheduled meetings. That's the day I signed in the Imperial Constitution. All right. So a judge around me, my brother, Tucker Bay, he called me and said, "You come on out now. You the baddest man on the planet. You got your own constitution, boy. You're a constitutional monarch." Okay, so so they were recognized, but they couldn't make me live. Why? Because they had to give it their own authority. Some people say, "Why you ain't out there on the market?" Because you can't be out there on the market. Because you got your own state. That's their airways. They control all that. So that's why we got .us on our website, because we just need that that avenue because the United States is our sister country. We don't need no .gov from them. As you emerge in your state, you get your own server. So you got your own state. So this ain't no, no state can sit in the seat of another state. So you have a state. So, did I get that number straight for you?
Yes, and now you're going over to either what is required to have a sovereign state, what is required to have a sovereign country, or what is territorial sovereignty. Which one?
Okay, well, the first two have been answered throughout whole conversation about the full faith and credit, how we got authenticated. Yeah. So so for all those who are there trying to do it, trust me, you just wasting your time. Every door is closed because everything you see out there on the market now, they got to register inside of the state. Okay, so if you got anything registered inside the state owns your contract. That's why they give you a driver license. Okay, so that's state property. If you were a United States citizen, why you ain't got a United States ID? So when you got a state ID, the state control your birth record contract. Okay, and you hire them as trustees of your contract, and they treat you like that when you go into their court. But they the fiduciaries over your contract. See, so everybody trying to say they want to get reparations, I asked the question, how? The United States didn't exist when slavery existed, so how you gonna get any money from them when they broke? They're a democracy. Do you understand the difference between a democracy and a republic?
Can you explain that?
You have never seen the republic. The last Republican president was Abraham Lincoln. See, that was a catch for us that know when President Trump had that meeting with all the generals in the Abraham Lincoln room. See, we caught that a whole different way. The 45th president sitting in the 44th seat, you know what I'm saying? The 44th president sitting in the 45th seat, you know what I'm saying? Trump. Okay. So when he did the Abraham Lincoln room, we knew of the contract with the Pope. See, the Pope wrote the civil order. See, the Vatican run everything. Let's get that straight right now, okay? You ain't owning no damn land. You're not owning anything in this world because everything's contract out. All right, so when your birth record contract in 1871, the laws that govern that contract is called the King Arthur Codes. And that's the Black Christian codes. So if you want to be African American, Black, all that stuff they got on that thing, you got a code that ratifies you. That's why I tell people Black lives don't matter. Because you got a contract you can't control. So why do your life matter? They looking at you as chattel paper. Your mama signed you over to the state as a piece of paper. And then they taught you how to write a signature, and you wouldn't commit a fraud against yourself, saying the state is a fraud, so who the biggest fraud is? That's why you can't prove fraud in court. That never happened. The whole system will fall. Everything is a fraud. So when you got the republic pays their people. See, you know what I'm saying? Like Gaddafi was doing. Free education, free medical care. Because you have that wealth. See, you have the wealth that you can write off the equity of your wealth. See, the national trust debt in America is that's the Moorish contract. That's the treaty. That's the Vizier house in the president's office. Because they ain't got no authority. So the only way they can use the trust is through your trust. So they got a second trust that they're attached to the four. So when they changed the Constitution and the Constitution of the United States of America in 1871, the Reconstruction, okay, so they created another trust that they operating out of. That's why the debt can't get paid. Because they ain't got nobody to sign for the other part of the trust now. Because you took the trust back when Barack was in office. Why do you think the brother brought in the Interpol? Why do you think he allowed Interpol to come in? Because they got foreign nationals in their own country now. And why do you think Morocco came over here, opposed to what a Moorish American is saying? Why do you think they gave Drew Ali their holiday? Because of me. Go read our stuff.
The domino effect. When something real happens, other real things happen.
Keep running, and it's happening to this day. So you can't be a part of the American state citizen that you're a foreign national in your own country. So that's what we created with the contract. We kept that real quiet. Because people would try to take that ID and go out and do anything. They can't do nothing without IDs. That's why I sat back and watched the group up in Fayetteville and all them cats. that were trying to attach themselves to the Washita, I just sat back and watched it because I know they didn't have no venue.
So is this the territorial sovereignty that you?
But territorial sovereignty comes with the raising of the flag. Okay, so you got territorial sovereignty on your inalienable rights. Now you see why the State Department just did a commission on inalienable rights. Because as my status, I'm inalienable. I have inalienable rights. That's why the commission was created. Certain paperwork that the State Department or in the air right now about the state being arriving right now. See, so that's why you see in the commission on the inalienable rights was started by the State Department. He said urgently, because you have treaty rights. So you exercise your treaty rights for the first time in over 1492 when the Red House fell.
Wow.
And then you coming up through the 1700s and you pick up the authority from King Louis XVII, the French monarchy. All right, so now you bring all that authority and the Spain monarchy, because they became the protectorates, okay, over the Washita Moors sovereignty and imperial land rights in 1713. That's the Treaty of Utrecht. Okay, so that authority sits under your crown that's flying on the wall right here behind me. Okay, that's the authority that you have when you move your ship. So the state of Georgia, North Carolina, and South Carolina, all them have a full faith and credit based on their constitution. Okay, so you have the same full faith and credit based on all of them constitution back to the day when they established, which is when? July the 4th, or 1776. Declaration of Independence. See? Did I get you? Did I get that? Did I get both of them?
I think that you did. So my next question is, what is the difference? Because you keep using the word national and nationalization, and I don't know. I got my two questions are, how does one become nationalized? But even before I ask that, that's going to be question number two. Question number one is, well, what's the difference between nationalization and citizenship?
Well, citizenship, you're owned by someone. Your contract is owned by someone. That's why they call it birthright contract. It's a bond. Nationalization is when you attach yourself to the land. Okay, so when you attach yourself to the land, that's why we nationalize with pure civil. No United States, nothing on it, because you attach yourself back to the land. So now you have that's why I say a republic form of government. You have the equity to write off anything. Everything is comes. That's why democracy, you have to pay. See, that's why tell me one time the government gave you something. See, you got to file your tax and get a refund. You got to pay in the Social Security Administration, get a retirement, okay, from the Queen and the Social Security Administration. They never call you up there and tell you when they operating on your contract, but it's your contract. Okay, they give you 9 Social Security numbers in a lifetime. Why? That's your contract, but they can only give you 9, or no, 10. I'm sorry, and then they give you 10 birthright contracts. Why? Because through all the UCC stuff and all these people out here attempting to offset debt, they learned that these are bonds. Okay. Over the years. Because a lot of that cat stuff that they slinging out there, they might not teach the people they talking to, but they got to explain it to the clerks of the court when they go in there, because they don't know what the hell they talking about. You see? They talking to the small clerks. See what I'm saying? So you supposed to be at the Federal Reserve because that's how all the states is set up through the UCC. See? So they came in and trying to say they want to operate the state now, their birthright contract, and they got some kind of authority, so they go change their name to a Moorish name or something, a Nubian name, and do a UCC 1 on it and try to say they got it, do a, what they call it, a common law name change, you feel me? And throw something up there at the court and say, well, I posted it up here at the court for 30 days as a common law name change. It don't have no status. Because the only thing the democracy have a contract with your birthright contract. That's the only thing they can talk to. So anytime you come in there trying to say, I'm the sovereign over this, okay, that's it, okay, but you can't close out this account. See, bid bond, performance bond, payment bond. Okay, so who's gonna pay the bond? You can't close it out. That's why judges are what? Administrative bankers. So they can close the account. See, that's what democracy do. They have no law. That's why they practice under color of law. That's why they call themselves attorneys. Esquire. They're members of the bar. British Credit Registry. They have no contract with you. You get them the fiduciary over your preferred contract. That's why they treat you like that. Because you know, that's why they look down on you like that. Because you don't understand contract. That's why that Chief Justice said what? The Supreme Judge said what? Everybody's in jail because they want to be. That's why they can go home and sleep at night. Because you give permission on your contract. If you don't answer what that means, they ain't gonna tell you. Ignorance of the law, no excuse.
Wow. Wow. So you explained nationalization and citizenship.
Okay.
What is naturalization?
You talking about neutralization.
Oh, well, the question was.
That's the word. That's what you become in the United States. United States can't give you a nationality. They can give you a neutralization. That's what they call it. Go look at the word real careful. So that's like a citizen coming from a foreign country, and they're able to give them citizenship. That's what they do. But they can't give you no nationality because they have no sovereign state. The United States is a corporation.
Right, but is there a such thing as naturalization?
I mean, I can say you can say nationalization. That could be a big word. Yeah, I can say yeah. Okay. I mean, because that's you create your own vocabulary. They do, so we can make it one if we're gonna get a definition behind it.
Okay. I had a question. I think you might have got to it, but I just want to ask it for clarity's sake. So if you feel that you left anything out, or if you want to make it plain and compact, what is the Continental Moorish Yamashi Empire, the Imperial Royal Kingdom? I think that you were kind of explaining when you were talking about the clan leaders and the thing that they really did not do or did not know. But could you just give me like the short answer of what is the Continental Moorish Yamashi Empire, the Imperial Royal Kingdom? Like, can you bring it in for me a little bit?
Okay. So when we came through the journey, and when I did the claim of life, and claim my life back with Khufu, and Prince Bey at the time, Imperial Prince Bey, was the crown prince of the Washita Empire, Washita Nation. Opposed to a lot of people that's angry because they're trying to write the brother out of history, but I refuse to let him go like that, okay? So he had authority since when she went into a coma in 2001, because he was able to create his own state. See, he signed a treaty with the Yamasee government. So we formed the United Washita Money. They was already trying to operate in their name, and they had no venue till they got with us. So when they got the full faith and credit from the Yamasee government, okay, that went all the way back to King Louis XVII for the first time. That royal house of France had full faith and credit from the United States. Okay, outside of the Treaty of 1819, Adams-Onis Treaty. Okay, but Prince Bey got me nationalized. Had two chiefs of the Washita Nation at the time. It's all in declaration and proof. That's why I tell people you got to go read. But Prince Bey nationalized me as chief, my cool chief Thunderfire. That's the first time you ever see that appellation.
Yes.
Okay, so May 9, 2004, that's when I'm nationalized as Chief Thunderfire. So I'm nationalized as a chief. So you're nationalized as a chief of a government. So the government is always under you. There's no more nationalities on the market. Everybody else gets nationalized with their name, but he made sure they nationalized me as my cool Chief Thunderfire. So he knew I was gonna get the land back. He said, ain't nobody can get the land back. That's why he said, I've been looking for you. So he said, you grow into it. He said, but don't trust nobody. Okay? He said, because they're all on your energy. They try to steal your energy. So I said, right. He said, they need you. You don't need them. So that's why he nationalized me. Okay? So when I sat back and so cool. He was an appointed chief, so I'm cool with that because I couldn't sit in two seats at the same time because I was part of the Yamasee government, co-sign. So I can only be a secondary chief on the council to work with them to make sure they observe the treaty. And they to this day they haven't realized that they had a sovereign state. They never recognized because they went down through the truth language and that Captain Fairfield tried to get the unity, all that stuff. They never knew how to sit a state. I didn't never tell them nothing. I said, let them run on out there and hustle their people, and then they got to answer to their people. Okay, because they the ones sold their people out. See, so they didn't have nothing to do with that. That ain't got nothing to do with that contract. I own that state. You know what I'm saying? The Empire Washington title, I own that. See, you gotta understand. The probably knew what Crown Prince Drew Ali, he was the fifth Marquis. He was the fifth Marquis to the D. Masson Rouge of France.
Wow.
They never tell you that part of the story. How you think he was able to do what he did? You got other people standing up to this day, Farrakhan and all them. They ain't got no authority to go talk to the president and talk to royalty and all that stuff. You don't know. Why you think Drew Ali was able to do it then?
So you're on that lineage of the Marquis?
Yes, sir. That came through the watchtower. I'm the 8th Marquis. Drew Ali was the 5th Marquis. The Empress was the 6th Marquis. Prince Bay was the 7th Marquis. And I'm the 8th Marquis. By contract.
Number 8.
I got the full family credit of it. I offered it. I told Joe and them, I talked to them, bro, they ain't nothing they got I want. And I talked to them, bro, they were so arrogant and wanting to fight through the phone. And I'm like, I wanted something from them. I'm like, bro, you ain't got nothing I need. I came to give you what your mama left you. But if you don't want it, I'm going to hold on to it till the right crew come through. I don't need it. It's a state. We running our own state right now. I got 4 states. And the one we emerging right now is the pure Syrian white government. Each crown has its own state. Right? Okay, so then here's the pure magic royal post crown. That's the that's what the Amir Watchdog Moore state is. Okay? And then I had to redo the treaty that the embassy that Latif messed up. So we have a Mount Ararat embassy under that state. They ain't even messed with yet. You know what I'm saying? You got to build your first one first. Then over in Imperial Moorish, Moroccan American parentheses empire that I inherit. Okay, I have a imperial emir state that represent the Grand Vizier chair at the White House right now. The officer of the president don't have that officer of Vizier chair no more. I take that back. Barack tried to tell y'all, there wasn't nobody listening. He was the only reason why he got elected, because he knew we had this state. That's why after 100 days of office speech, he tell you got an active state, the cruise ship, not a speedboat. Come on. And then throughout the years, he told me, he said, you come correct, the whole world gonna know you. You know, you had that old boy Sean Hannity talking about, see, we got a president ain't working there. He's talking in his mind, go over here. No, he was talking to me. He was sending me a code. Just like they arguing about Trump right now, right there, this meeting. You think he stood there for 13 seconds for a reason? He stood there for 13 seconds because when you read our paperwork, it says Imperial Note 13. He's giving me a sign to come on out. That's what we're doing. We emerging our state.
Conducting proper business as a real sovereign. Is that what
there you go. That's what we're doing. That's all I can do. But that's what we inherit. So we don't have time to debate with people out there on the market. They don't have anything that we need. Go ahead, sir.
What keeps you operating with all this power, with all these things and assets at your fingertip? What keeps you operating in integrity and honesty? Because you could be quite abusive with the shoulders that you are rubbing, the people who know who you are, you being the best kept secret. What in the world would keep you operating with integrity and keep you operating with humility? Talk to me about that, because that's a lot of power. It's me just listening now. I'm just listening like a person, and I'm saying, man, that's a lot of power. They said power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. What keeps you humble and keeps you operating in integrity, Emperor Khufu?
The bloodline. I mean, you know, the bloodline, because it's in your blood. Okay, so you chose your parents to come through. Okay, first of all, and that was just a guidance. All right, so when you come through, you're in a world that's surrounded by religion. All right, so you know, and it never gave you anything. So in your life, you had things happen to you. Even my coat of arms showing up to me, and me going there to my coat of arms. Who can you talk to? You can't, you know what I'm saying? So who's gonna listen to you, first of all? You know what I mean? So when Samuel Ray, my coat of arms, came to see me, I was 7 going on 8 years old. I mean, I went to every root doctor, every psychic, everything you could see, because they thought the devil was trying to claim us over. You feel me? So, you know, so then as I grew into the energy, and I was able to go home and take my body with me and come back in this form. So when somebody tell me this mystic stuff in the church, I can't agree with it, because I went there and I was able to come back in the same form. Okay? I'm driving on the mountain, 18-wheelers, driving trucks over the road, and I'm coming down a little North Mountain. All this stuff is on record. Okay, I'm coming down a little North Mountain, and it's raining crazy. And all this water, you know, it just pushed me right off the road. And I'm going down the mountain as I'm coming off the road, and the only thing I see is all these trees in front of me, and I blink my eyes. And when I open them, I'm at the bottom of the hill sitting on the side of the road. Still got tree limbs in my truck. See, so that you know, so I'm driving up 85 north out of Concord before they got all this highway, right? Driving 18-wheelers, driving Flowers Bakery, right? This guy came beside me trying to, you know how the traffic is, you know, ain't one of them rebel boys trying to, you know, play dumb. Just right beside you so you can't see. So when I put my signal light on to come out, he won't even move, don't speed up or nothing. So when he found it, when I slowed down for him to speed up, he cut right in front of me. And I had to hit the jake brake and started jackknifing. So next thing I know, I look in the mirror, I'm jackknifing, I see my trailer coming around. So I'm going into the center of the bank. I'm going 85 north, you know, traffic coming 85 south. And they had this big embankment there. So when I'm trying to hold this sucker, I let it go and close my eyes. When I open my eyes, bro, I'm sitting on the southbound side of the highway straight on the service side. Okay? So when the state trooper had us in the car, okay, this Caucasian lady was sitting on the right side, and she just kept saying, you know, she believed in God and she believed in Jesus, and then, you know, so the state trooper get kind of upset because he was like, we asked the other guy that was sitting here, trucker, asked him could he take her statement first, and he said sure, you know, like, you know, and he asked her what happened. She was like, the only thing I know, sir, is my husband's a truck driver, and we were traveling, and he said he watched his car cut in front of this truck right here, and he told me to look. He said, look, that guy cut that truck off. He said, oh Lord, it's jackknifing. And so he said all the traffic on the southbound side just started stopping because they seen the truck jackknifing. She said, but when he came across the center, none of his tires touched the ground. She said it was like he was on a cloud. He just glided across the whole median, and this is where he landed. She said, so like I said, sir, I believe in Jesus. So the cop said, the state trooper looked at me and said, I ain't nothing I can write up on that. He said, now I can write you up because your fender bent when I jackknife. He said, I can write up and get it fixed at the shop. He said, well, could you pray for me? I said, man, please. You know, have a good day. I'm learning who I am. So that stuff will humble you at certain levels. You have gifts that you can't really talk about. I mean, we and his brother, I ain't gonna call his name I'm gonna use initials. WJ. You know, until I meet you, I ain't gonna put him out there because this is real heavy, okay? So we traveling to DC, right? So we coming through we traveling to DC coming up 85 north out right before about 2 miles for that last rest area in Hennessy. About 5 miles from there, we seen it, right? So it's this ship. So, you know, I just got Air Force. Okay, so we drive and we see this ship, and it's descending. So, you know, we debating in the car like, what is? He telling me that's something in the Air Force. I said, bro, I just got out of the Air Force. And we ain't got nothing like that. So we got to be a helicopter. I said, no, son, that's a spaceship. So when it got down toward the clouds, man, that sucker was 30 miles, at least 30 miles wide. That's how big it was. It was just light, beautiful. Next thing I know, this is what he told me. See, because he said a light came down from the spaceship and it hit me in the car. We running like 80 miles an hour. You know how we drive. So we riding. Okay, so he said I fall back in the seat. And you know, so the light got me from the ship. Okay, so the light from the ship. So he tripping in the car trying to grab the steering wheel and trying, you know, to see what was going on. And he said when he touched that shield, it threw him to the door. We're in a Nissan Datsun SS way back in the day. You know, the little hatchback. When I came through, he was sitting sideways in the car. And I'm like trying to figure out, he said he tried to open the door was open. He tried to raise down the window was open. And then I came through. And we pulled over in that rest area. That's the landmark. He was, you know, cussing me out. Pull over, Lord David, pull over. You know, so we watched it. As I came through, you can see the shell going up in the sky, and then took off. So we pulled into the rest there, and I told him what happened. I said, yo, man, I just seen the space shuttle blow up. He said, huh? I said, the space shuttle just blew up, man. I said, like 71, 72 hours. I said, yo, I was like, I was there. Man, the next space shuttle went up 9 months later. Columbia blew up, same time. Seen it. Boy, they started calling me prophet and stuff, antichrist and all that stuff, because I said, well, I had a vision. So you can't tell me you can't see in the future, because I just seen it in the future, okay? And I got a witness that seen it and told everybody in Greensboro. We got a prophet on our hand. So, so that kind of stuff, them little lessons, humble you in your journey. You know what I'm saying? Because you got stuff you can't go put on record. You can't talk to no preacher. Who you gonna talk to?
And so because for me, my interpretation of that is, if it's that kind of power that can give me this kind of power and show me this kind of grace, if I abuse it, then the wrath can come down too.
But I just noticed in my journey, regardless of what level I was on, I don't care, smoking, drinking, whatever. When that spirit came through, you just sober. There's no explanation for it. It's like it doesn't have no meaning. Everything you think you guilty of, it doesn't have no meaning. Nothing. It's like where they carry me, it's like you weigh yourself down by holding that stuff in. And the way they got the system set up for you to hold that stuff in. They was just pure fire, bro. Nothing, there was nothing, so I hear the stories, and I see people put all their conviction and you got a lot of people that ran from Islam, Christianity, all that stuff, and then they say they ain't nothing, but when them niggas die, they hope Jesus came to get them. Come on now. They hope Muhammad came to get them. Come on now. Some of them think Doc gonna save them, you know what I mean? So you look at this stuff like, yo, this is your time, okay? So you coming into the Aquarian age, okay? And every age you come into, you have a government forming or coming, all right? So I never knew I was the government coming forming when we started thing in 2007. You know what I'm saying? I never looked at all this time and zodiac and certain times when I filed the paperwork just to get it done, the way I was living and stuff. And I was beating dates and stuff that the elder was, and then you get on, 2-3 years down the road, and you go by and say, well, damn, they made sure you filed this on April the 3rd, unbeknown to you, all this stuff that you carrying. And so you go back and, that's that beautiful wisdom. So whatever you did, they didn't care. It was already, the mission will continue, So you got a mission now. So your mission is that you have a sovereign state for the first time in over 500 years. We lost it before. We ain't gonna lose it again. Come on.
And this is gonna be my last question for this segment, because I got some more questions, but I want to put in a separate segment and put at the top of the hour, because we're ending the end of the first hour. I just suspect I'm a pretty good judge of people and stuff like that. And to me, I think you just answered my last question. I'm gonna still give it to you though. Is this why you just so excited and so happy? Right now, like I've known you for more than a month of Sundays, as we say in the South. And you just seem happy, excited, and full of joy right now. Can you just give me in 2 or 3 minutes, why are you just so happy and full of joy?
You got a lottery ticket.
Is it because you own your mission?
You got your own lottery ticket. Instead of you going out there trying to be 100,000,001 to 1 to hit for $100 million, you feel me? You got your own ticket to write your own way. You have equity on your contract from 1786. You can write off the equity, okay, based on the gold standard, okay? So when you come under the Constitution for the government, okay, the small United States of America, okay, they said the currency is gold and silver. And that was before the 1792 Corns Act. So the currency is gold and silver. Okay, so if you got no nation, you nationalize under your own silver, you own your nationality can pay all the debt that the United States own right now.
Wow. Because I'm looking at
think about this. In 1792, the Corns Act states that if you got 21 ounces of silver, it's equivalent to $1 million. Okay, so you got to be able to put it in a silver surety bond, and you got no idea what you think surety bonds are. That's what construction's coming to do. They get the contract and they go get the bank a bond, Okay, and that's civil surety. That's based on civil, and they guarantee they're gonna pay so they can pay their workers. It's all contract. So you got the sovereignty now. See, you got to realize these 60 cats, they ain't gonna like this because they were Martin Luther King boys. Okay, and so there was a civil rights movement. Okay, so that's what you're dealing with. Okay, so you got to go back. I go back past civil rights when the United Nations had a declaration for the declaration for the elimination of colonialism. Okay, so the United Nations gave you human rights in the 61, bro. Then they came along with civil rights. Civil rights for corporations. That's why you can't honor yourself on the human rights. Your contract is human, is civil. Okay, so they marched all these miles. So to talk to them now, they mad because they was made a fool of. I mean, civil rights, you don't have no rights. It's for corporation. You have human rights. Don't you got blood runs in your veins?
Absolutely.
Well, that's human rights. So why do you don't have a human right contract on that birth record? You were born, won't you? They got a point that you came out the womb. Okay? So they stamp you, they put some footprints on it now to create a fiction contract. See, but you got love, but you can't honor no human rights. See? So they got civil rights and say, yo, this guy down in Florida was walking a certain way, and this cop didn't like it. All right, he wanted to come up on him and approach him because he was wearing his pants a certain way, this and that, right? And he ended up killing that boy, that Trayvon boy, right? All right, that young kid, okay? All right, so they carried this boy to court for civil rights. Okay, our question was, well, what about his human rights? Because his human rights say he can wear the damn pants the way he wants. Now, out of respect for your people and your land, your mother, you will wear your pants up on your butt to show some respect. Okay, but he, in the human rights, he had the right to wear his clothes the way he wants. Maybe he was weighed down. Maybe he had 50 coins in his pocket, pulling your pants down. So, but who's this guy going to judge him on anything? See, but under civil rights, he got away with it. But under human rights, okay, that his family, the bond of the state. See, so everything is corporate law. They never go after the cops' bond. They already go after the cop. It's civil, and all attorneys work together, defense and prosecution. I know, brother. Let me give you this. I know when them suckers came after us, man. When we signed this contract with the post office, and I got in the post office and was able to send them apostille and tell them that Khufu renews to Doc Sampson. They own Darius Todd Sampson now. This is back in 2003, January, and the post office responded. So you ain't supposed to talk to no secure party. But they talked to me because they thought they were cocky. They're sovereign, right? So they came back and said, okay, it's okay for their Khufu renew. We got your paperwork. We understand the contract. But Darius Todd Sampson, the contract, he had to still come to work and perform by the regulations and guidelines of the Post Service. I said, cool, I know how to hit the clock. See? But they accepted my nationality, who I was. So I'm Khufu Renew Z Sampson there with my own nationality, birthright contract, everything. And when I go in the postal property, okay, that's when I go be Darius Todd Sampson. Okay, so that's why they arrested Darius Todd Sampson on postal property. How you think we got he's Imperial Major Royal Post? So the post office in default right now. So that contract I'm telling you about now, they agreed to pay Khufu $900,000 a day for any kind of damage to contract. That's what we agreed to. So they came with the false arrest and they lost. But you ain't gonna find no court in their system to cash it out. So I got them at the default level so I can bring it to my own court now. See, because you got international knowledge. So that was the biggest thing kicking. So when they assigned us into the contract with the post office, okay, they accepted the government. And that's why they had all that big bust down in Atlanta and all them managers got fired and all that stuff when they came after me. Because they hit a sovereign state. I was a sovereign, I'm a consul of my own state. I'm coming to work to do business at Darius Todd Sampson on the contract. Long as I don't violate your contract, they ain't nothing else you can say. All right, so when you allowed the Cobb County to come on postal property to arrest Darius Todd Sampson on a false warrant, didn't he read his rights? Okay, you ain't supposed to come on postal property. Because if I was doing anything wrong, the postal inspectors and the marshals would have been not took me out of the post office. But they knew we had a contract because I sent it to them. But they allowed the Cab County to come in there and arrest Darius on false charges. Man, the guy they said I abused, he didn't have a name. He didn't have a social security. He had a name that they created. But he didn't have a social security card or a birth record. Okay? So the attorney that got me, I ain't gonna call his name, that finally got Darius out of jail after 17 days, okay? Because they ain't never been arrested. They had Darius in a $25,000 cash bond for trying to say I embezzled $5,000 from a guy that don't exist. Okay, he don't have no social security card or birth record. He don't exist. All right, and they threw you. So don't people all that crap they saying out there. I'm like, no. The court is controlled. Okay, all them boys sleep together. Okay, they sleep together. So a judge, when he cast that time, they're gonna sue a judge. I said, you suing the bar. Why you want that kind of pressure? You feel me? You know, you suing the bar. You that's a whole lot of pressure. See, so we learned that way back in 2003. That's why we left it alone and moved our way because we had our own state. So everybody else was saying one thing, we were saying, no, we got to learn how to run our state. So that's why they pulled us off the market. And after I went through the Great Seal in 2006, that's why I did the appellation Khufu took Ranubel. Because I just came through the Great Seal and they didn't have no venue. They didn't have nothing. So I came through the court and changed it for my national name in the Great Seal because we was out there, we was out there on the market. I came to legalize it through the court. That's why I think people don't know why you do that because I know that there ain't no venue over there. Y'all have nothing to use that appellation for. But, nothing. You have no venue. I understand the Moorish heritage. Okay, that's good. I studied it. But we got our own Himhotep University. All that stuff can be taught over there. I ain't got no problem with it. But it ain't gonna run no state. See, we got a state to run. So you got the same authority that your officials in your state have right now. Now, let me give you a question. Because nation, some people ask, where you land at? Okay.
That's where we're gonna start. That's where we're gonna start part 2 at. That's where we're gonna start part 2. We're gonna leave them cliff hanging so they say, I done watched this and sat for an hour. I'm gonna give me some water, straighten my notes out. But we're gonna come right back. We're gonna end this one right here, and then we're gonna come right back. So everybody, do not leave your seats. This has been epic today. We'll be right back with part 2.